Hmm.
But I know that doesn't always come through depending on the situation. But at the end of the day, and years ago, I kind of just, and like I said, I went to a lot of different schools. So I was a new kid a lot. So I kind of just had to accept the fact that I am who I am. This is me. You either like it or you don't.
Hmm.
And I've tried to
Sounds
keep,
like a song in a musical. This is me. I
well,
mean,
I
it
mean, I'm
is.
sure it is, but I
Yeah.
also am genuinely such a lover of movies that these kinds of things and why I dig so deep into the characters and the storylines is because that's the therapy for me. When
Hmm.
I look at that, I find the parallels between what I'm going through in my life and kind of like going through it. And I watch the movie with that in my mind.
Hmm.
So I take the messages from them and certain things. So I can sit here, I could break down this entire movie and give you like everybody, what I feel like is everybody's issue and why they do this and why do that and who really is super self-confident and honestly doesn't care and who does, like, you know what I mean? I just really get into all of that. But having to go to so many new places and moving around all the time, it's constantly like reintroducing yourself to people and then kind of coming back and forth. And I was lucky that it wasn't as terrible as it could have been. I made some really great friends that I actually still have,
Hmm.
that I've been friends with since elementary school or middle school or high school. I mean, one of my very best friends, we've been friends for almost 25 years.
It is a gift to be able to, like,
Mhm.
befriend people in all of these different situations, different
Mhm.
age groups, professionally, back when you went to high school, all the stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a nod to just your I don't know, faking it.
But right, I mean, and it goes into, and it's funny because everybody's doing this whole new, like this Taylor Swift song, the one that's like, "Hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me."
Hmm.
And it's kind of going back and looking like, what are your problems? Like, what are you looking at? It's the self-reflection. What are you looking at yourself for and realizing are your insecurities that you can bring out that causes these things to happen in your life?
Well, that's what makes it dangerous about today's topic, because it's like really cool, because these are like, we're flooded with memories, like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh. I mean, and I'm not a person who ever goes back and looks back at like that stuff. I mean, my most exciting time, and no knock to like high school, it was fun when it was around, but after
Hmm.
that, it was like when we started in radio. That's where I had like the most fun, that's where my life really started.
Yeah.
What was the point of bringing that up? Oh, bringing that up is like, but we go back and things remind you of stuff, not triggered, but like things remind you of things. And you also see how much you changed. Off topic, there was a TV show I used to love called Girlfriends. Did you ever watch? It was a Kelsey Grammer produced show. Anyways, it was the four women. It was like a Sex in the City, actually, early.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of episodes, but I didn't ever watch it religiously.
Well, here's what's funny. My whole life growing up, or we're not growing up, but watching,
Mhm,
I was probably a 22-year-old when it came out.
mhm.
Um, I always thought I was a Maya. And then I was like, I was never a Maya. I was a Tony Childs. And that's not even necessarily good, because she was selfish, but like I could rep that would be the character
Mhm,
that I would be. But when I was younger, I thought I was a Maya. No, I was like a Joan. Joan was the main character, which is always
mhm,
the Sarah Jessica Parker or the Dorothy
mhm,
Zvornak of it all. Um, B. Arthur. So it's funny how you get locked into it at one moment and then you go
mhm.
back and you're like, I identified with that character? No, I'm over here. Anyways, that is
No,
a
it's really interesting, and I'm a person that I've always go back. I always look back to move forward, and I don't know why I've always done that, but I always have. And I've mentioned this before on the show. Like, I'm a notorious for keeping everything. Every letter, I used to religiously write journals, and when I go back and read them, it cracks me up. But I also have every letter, anybody that's ever written me, promise you I still have it somewhere,
I
like
remember
from school and all of that.
one time you stayed at my apartment in New York, and
Mhm.
you had because you were working at Playboy at the time,
Mhm.
you had the Playboy letterhead in the letter. I used to save them too. I just
Mhm.
got to a point in my life slash career slash what the F,
Mhm.
where I just moved too many damn times. So I
Yeah.
lost the saving. But up until around
Mhm.
2016, I was a very good saver
Yeah.
also.
Well, I
You like
mean,
saving though? You think it
I
feels
I
good to
I
go back?
I do because
Oh no, you should never look back. You should never look
but
back.
that's how it helps me to really take a look at myself, because if it's in print, how can you argue? Like, I can think that a situation went one way, but I used to literally detail by detail write these out like stories. I've always wanted to be like a script writer, movie director, and I went to film school and
That's
stuff,
true. You said
and
that.
that's
Yeah.
why. So I always lived my life like that ever since I was a kid. I mean, I've got stories that I wrote about like how I met like the first guy I ever liked in our whole situation, and how all these years later we got back in touch with each other and talked about what the relationship was to him and what the relationship was to me. And it was just so mind blowing, like how we saw each other when we were so young, because it was like such a nothing. I mean, like it was everything then. And it felt like it was such a big thing, but we really didn't spend all that much time together. And it's just funny to look back at that now. But to be able to reflect and revisit, but also with some of my girlfriends, I thought I was one way and I look back and I'm like, oh shit, I kind of wasn't the good friend.